Where's me friend? Yeah. Well, I've had the Rolling Stones impressed upon me. I'm using a new computer. There she is. And it's the same, isn't it? I've just fired up, which has been dormant, MacBook Pro, but I'm having trouble with the email. So I've still got to, I can't get it to register my main email address, if you get me, through Google. And I don't ever use the other address, that this is the email on this computer's registered with. I will suss it out. Like, I mean, it's a constant growing. Oh, hello, got some people. Don't know who you are, Roger Down or what. Calling to me. Done. Well, that's nice to find out. No, they got to add some. And one other. There you go. Heal the planet. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I estimate you're from the east. It's probably the time. Yeah, that looks like a small picture of Krishna. So this is a new computer. And like I said, I started this. It's 12 o'clock gone, 20 past 12 or midnight here in Scotland. Rolling Stones came blasting through. I often get impressed with music, and it has given me shelter, which I haven't put in the title. Also did, doesn't matter. But that's what started this, so I'll blame it on the Rolling Stones. Yeah. Or did an email say, give me, I'm after Bosnian Pyramid water again, but it was quite some months back. And I've had a contact from someone from Germany, but he's not sure if the restrictions are still in place. I better get some more already. And when I last contacted the Bosnian Pyramid group or community, because there's quite a few Bosnian Pyramid sites, but I did actually get through to the actual archaeological dig, you know, not just a group of people who are perhaps interested, and was clearly told, I've just got to clean my glasses, that, and I even went to the, I went to the United Nations in Bosnia, and they clearly informed me that the postal service is in disarray, that it's hardly existent, and that you can own very limited, probably bomb scares, who knows what, you can only send, quote, paperware. And that was the situation a while back. I've just done a video about this in the context of clearly feeling I was impressed that I must go to the Bosnian Pyramids, which of course is a good thing to do anyway, for many reasons. I've got health reasons, got quite a bad leg, got a blood clot. And one of the things I was going to ask, if there is, it wouldn't matter, but disabled access to, I think you can get into the tunnels, which is the main place one would want to go, but it'd be nice to go a bit up or even get to the top of the Pyramid of the Sun, but it would need a special track. I certainly couldn't walk up, oh no, but like a disabled wheelchair come access. Maybe this is to come in the future, because that'd be quite a bit of work, but you could actually do it a spiral. Yeah, if the angle's too steep. And there's obviously esoteric significance of that, because why should disabled people be not allowed to access the top. Could say, well, get an alien. I'm a bit of a cosmic comedian as well, but that's a sidetrack. A lot of my, all of my videos incorporate humour, and sometimes, well, I do it now. I don't know where it's going to go, but this is cosmic humour, 18 plus, and there might be some swearing involved. And if you are very adverse to that, don't have a sense of humour, but you maybe should tune in elsewhere. Okay. I think Facebook, Ideal Man, yeah, you're someone I've newly befriended. Hi. It clears it with Facebook because obviously they've got a responsibility to people. It's like they often put a thing about graphic violence, right? It's a warning. You know, this video contains shots of graphic violence, and if you find that offensive, don't watch, or you get a little screen with an eye on it. So you're clearly given an option. You know, you might want to see it because, you know, it raises your awareness of what's happening. But if you're particularly really sensitive to that, then you shouldn't watch it. So, heal the planet. It's quite a nice little mantra name, isn't it? You know, feed the world, heal the planet. So I'll go on that vein. Yes, I do feel that the water under the Bosnian Pyramid has immense potential for the healing of the planet. I myself have been experimenting with putting water under my own little pyramid, also including with that samples of water from other sacred sites. I'll do that if I can. Oh, you know, it says a picture says 1,000 words. This, for instance, it's a sample of water, yeah, purest Ganja gel, and it is actually from the ice, the source of the Ganges, right? Really high up. It's in a biodegradable plastic bag, right? I don't want to burst it, but yeah. And you can get these on eBay, as of course you can get other samples of water, water from Lord's, water from Glastonbury, okay. But as yet, no one's, as far as I know, got it together to get Bosnian Pyramid water out to the world. Here. And this would be a great thing to do. So I will put my foot in straight there. If I do come to the Bosnian Pyramids in the near future, it's mainly finances, and also I have got a very physically disabling condition. I say a blood clot in my leg. At the moment, I haven't got a car, but possibly will have. And I can get brilliant, a little collapsible wheelchair you can get. Incredible. You can back it up, if you like, on 2 little ramps into your car. So you've got the room, the seats can fold down and whatever. So you can get in your car, but still you're a bit, well, I am, even walking across grass fields to get to PowerPoints and things, stone circles, could be a bit of a trouble for me. But the car I'm getting, if I get it, is a 4-wheel drive off-roader. So in theory, I could drive up to the site or near to it, and even to stay sat in the car, I'd be in the auric field of, shall we say, the stone circle anyway. But I think getting up to the top of a pyramid here in a car is obviously out of the thing. But I had this vision, like I say, I like the Glastonbury tour. Rare! That has got a circular path just for people to walk up. but obviously it takes out the steepness of trying to go straight up. Anyway, I ain't here to tell people what to do and whatever, but you can suggest things and whatever. And I know myself that if I can get access to the tunnels, that's enough, because anything under the pyramid, and that would be the tunnels that go under and with the water, etc., one can get immense healing benefits from that. And it's something I want to do, but more than that, I want to help set up some kind of distribution system, company, whatever. Quite a few ways to go about it. I don't know again what Bosnian law is about a charity, but a charity could be set up, and its function is to distribute the sacred waters of Bosnian pyramids, right? I also incorporated in my vision, I've shared this in another video, but anyway, whatever. It's going to be an appeal. So I'm asking this thing, I can't believe, right, all the people that have visited the Bosnian pyramids, admittedly it's mainly in the summer, but even so, if someone gets to see this and has some extra Bosnian pyramid water, so they brought more than just one bottle, although I don't know about that, you see, going off. In the airports now, you're limited, aren't you, to 100 ml of water. So maybe that will fall flat on its face. All the same, or more, reiterating the fact of the need. Because even if you visit the Bosnian pyramids, but you fly, nada, you know, that's it, 100 ml of liquid or water, whatever, that's it. Okay, and all this is stopping or blocking the healing of the planet, which to my mind, okay, anyone on any kind of spiritual path should be aware of the need for us to actively, and that's the word, to start doing efforts to heal the planet. We have the technology, which is pyramids. We have the means, which is water. My little system, I can show it here if I'm careful. You can just see it now, it's coming into focus. But yeah, whoa, I've got a external hard disk, which is, it's not very good because I've got something attached to the computer, a backup. Yes, it's not good, Graham, but I can't really unplug it because it's have a look. No, you're not meant to unplug these things because they're constantly on this. This is a new computer for me. I haven't used this one for months. As I shared earlier, I'm still trying to set it up so I can access my email on it. I've got one email address, but it's not what I call my main address. Anyway, I'm not here to know. Yeah. So I'll just close that. I'm trying to sell some things, right? Via Messenger, via Facebook. And I've given my email address, but I can't access that email on this computer. I've got to work that out. Even though I've got a little book with passwords in it, because constantly having to change them and things, I can't get it to compute. But I have got another laptop, not so powerful one, but that does, and I can access the email on that. But I can access Messenger. So some people can see these things that I'm actually trying to sell through Facebook anyway, and so they have access to Messenger. But I thought it's better that I give her an email address and also your phone number. So I've had no one get back to us on the phone, but most people will just make an initial inquiry first, getting back, ring you up and see. And they generally ask things like, is it this, is it that, is it in good condition, blah, 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 whatever. Clear the waters, if you like, before they make a formal contact to you that, yes, I'm interested and I'd like to offer you this if they want to hang on, whatever. And that's money to try and help me get to Bosnia. My intentions are to come by car and have a wheelchair that's collapsible in the car as well. It's a motorised one as well. But I'm repeating myself, I could just do it myself. The theory I'm working on is just 100 ml sample of water next to other samples of water, right, on a disc, a wooden disc, which is the flower of life, with crystals on that. So you've got various technologies. Well, you've got sacred geometry, flower of life, crystals, which are cleansed. Everyone knows that. On the flower of life, you can just put a crystal on that and it will cleanse the crystals. There's a constant cleansing operation, and it's under, in a context, two periods, Freudian slip, pyramids. You've got the actual main shape, but then the crown stone, if you like, headstone of the pyramid is a pyramid as well in itself. And I think we'll have another go. Just got to be careful, so I'm going to pick up. It's only a small external drive. That's it. Come on, Glenn. As long as I hold that. That's a better view. Yeah, that's about the best I can get because there's some headphones in the way. But you can see it's plastic. Now that's been proven by, I might be preaching to the converted here, but whatever. Plastic is far better material to use than metal because the energies that's coming up from the earth are all, in a sense, electrical, magnetic, whatever, but all have an electrical component to them. I'll quickly give this, right, and on the floor, on the base of the pyramid, you'll see a big round jar. I call it the storage jar. You can just see a tap. It looks metal, but it's actually plastic, right? Then on the top of that, you can just see the edge of the flower of life disc, which is a wooden carving. It's wood. Then you can see some crystals. Yeah, I'll go back down a level actually. And then the actual main container that I take the water that I take myself every day is pyramidal or cone-like in shape, which the Russian research has clearly indicated. That don't look very photogenic, but I'm struggling here. Right, try and keep it still. So you have another pyramid in a sense, and then as I was just waffling on, right at the top of the pyramid, so it's contained in a pyramid, is an actual little pyramid as well. So you've got like a triple whammy. Now we come back to the base, and round the base you can just see now various containers with water samples from various places. Like I say, there's Ganges, which I did just show you, from a pyramid in America, Lourdes, Glastonbury. And I'd love to have some Bosnian pyramid water. It sort of make the pack, if you like. I'm very carefully putting this down and then moving the hard disk because that's constantly backing up the time. And that is it's a machine, because the pyramid is a machine. And the pyramid just needs to be one of the sides orientated north. Easy done with a compass. And that's it. It's drawing up the Earth's energy. You can have a pyramid hanging from the ceiling if you wanted to. And you could, like in my loft, I had that. I had one just hanging over the top of my head, because I've got another computer set up there, and just used a tie wrap, see, plastic, but it doesn't matter, to just anchor it, if you like, to the ceiling come wall, and made sure one of the sides was orientated north. And that did have quite an interesting effect. But because of my leg, I haven't been up into my upper room too recently. It's a very tight little stairway. It's a little cottage, this. But it's the nicest room in the house, because I had a fire and brand new carpets. It's all redecorated. And I've also got up in the loft a mobile pyramid made from copper, but apparently out of the metals, that's quite the best, if you follow me. And it's like an umbrella. It's brilliant. And it just folds out like an umbrella. It's linked at the top, and you just fold it out. Got chain link along the base to give you the right measurements. You get me? Big enough to sit under, which I will be intending to do. And it all goes into a tube, a big tough drainage pipe, actually, but really thick plastic, so perfect protection. And you could put some padding inside, and you'd have no trouble taking it either in a car or, if you were flying, on the plane as well. It'd be considered excess luggage, but it doesn't weigh that much. And then incorporating with that technology, you can get one of these little babies. See that? It's actually a medicine wheel made by Native Americans, right? And you've got this online. You've got the North. I'll just get that right. It's got a felt bottom, underneath it. We can see the North. Camera's a bit different, the other one, right? And you've got a little chart with it, because there's all these various stones that are named and have a function in the medicine wheel technology, if you like. But you can just put that on the ground, have it orientated north again, the north, and then a pyramid on the top of that, and then a chair, collapsible meditation come deck chair thing, a relatively straight back, and you're away. You can put this in your hotel room. So, it's very portable. And the same with the pyramid. If you didn't want to take one to sit under, although it's the best thing to do, obviously you can take the smaller one like that, and it collapses to nothing. Just a couple of bits of lengths of plastic tubing, which is very cheap. It's basic electricians, what they call piping, to put cables through. And it's a universal size. I think it's 20 mil or whatever. But you just take the kit into the shop. And so I'd want some pipe, white plastic pipe, to fit into these holes. And they're sussy, I believe it's 20 mil. Right. The kit does cost £50 because it's made on these 3D printing machines. Right, and the angles have to be exact and that, but that's not massive, not like they were being sold. Yeah, you could pay well over £500 because, and it's mainly Indian people as well, that they seem to be ahead of this pyramid technology, shall we say. And it's through eBay, but I did notice a lot of the sellers were based in India. Of course, you had gold-plated ones, which I suppose could justify the price. But actually, as the Russian research has proven, because they tested various material, a plastic one's the best. Again, because it doesn't conduct any of the energy and disperse it. And the setup I was natural. There was a metal lid on my reservoir, and I just thought, oh no, can't use this, right? And then I had this flower of life. It's actually designed to be a wall hanging, but it can be flat, obviously, and handmade, and it's through a charity shop. Easy, just put that in your web browser, flower of life, loads of stuff, you can get with a flower of life. Or I've actually got one of these with a flower of life, but isn't it, right? And it's just a combination, like I say, of sacred geometry, crystals. Oh, you could use your intellect, there's loads of information about various crystals, if you like, that are connected with the earth, right? Granite just flashes to mind, but you can find that out. Judy Hall, a brilliant book I've got. It's crystals and sacred sites. So it's tying in with what I actually want to do myself. I want to link up various cosmic power points, which I believe, obviously, the pyramids in Bosnia are a cosmic power point. Yeah. There's also an interesting thing about the pyramids in Bosnia. There is a river that passes right under the side of the largest pyramid. Now that stream, there is conjecture that it was man-made. Various evidence, I've seen the videos on YouTube that, and it is like initially just a man-made, is it a viaduct, whatever's the word for it, but to distribute water. But that water will be blessed by the aura of the pyramids. So the pyramid's like that, right? And the energy is being drawn up, right? But also there's an aura round the base of the pyramid, which is its field of influence as well. Anything within that auric field is exposed to the energy that the pyramid is drawing up. And that river certainly is. But of course, the final component of this work, again, this is promoted by Emoto, is blessing the water. And this can even go as far out as getting a container of water, that sort of thing, but then writing certain words on it like a label, right? And there's been a whole load of research. Infinite love and gratitude. Infinite love and gratitude. And you put those words round the water container and the water is blessed and it's changed. Yeah. But if we actually use our mind, prayer, you can use your chakra in your hand, you actually actively bless. You can touch the water. I just hold it up because I'm actually a lay Baptist priest and I baptised someone actually in the River Findorn as a matter of interest. So I've already started this process and a miracle actually took place. Because the axiom to that is when two or three are gathered together in my name, my presence is felt. So it's actually demonstrating the technology of prayer that the person who's being prayed for must enter into the prayer for it to be effective. They must believe something is going to happen. This ties in with Jesus, right? He could do no good works there because of their unbelief. Now that gives a lot of encouragement to all budding healers that if the person you're trying to give healing to is negative, doesn't really believe something's going to happen, by their faith be it so, then it won't. But the person I ministered to was in quite a state of distress. He was going through a psychotic episode. He had done a runner from the local psychiatric hospital in Elgin, which is about 15 miles away from Findon, but he was directed or guided to go there because he met me, a priest who was open and who approached him and who bothered to talk with him, whatever. But we were brought together, as I believe, by the angelic kingdom. But it is still his faith. Regardless of that, angels could bring you together with someone, but if they're still, haven't got any real faith, things aren't going to happen for them. And I learnt this because I was trained in the Jesus Fellowship Church. And every Saturday, Sunday or whatever, we'd have public meetings where anybody could come in and join, and the minister would lead us all in various different things, but whatever, it could be cancer, it could be smoking or various things. And we were ready. And on his direction, he would invite people to come forward for healing. But we learned that those that weren't ready, because their faith wasn't really there, nothing happened. But we also learned that it's by their faith. But if you happen to meet someone who's really ready to receive healing and for a miracle, if you like, to happen, it will and does happen. So he was going through psychosis, hallucinating, in a paranoid state. He just smashed up a church because he had gone through a period or an experience of feeling that God had deserted him and a negative lashing out. But he felt terrible about it. Was very, repentant, if that's the word. Oh, he felt that was bad. And I had to counsel him and assure him, no, he's not going to be punished. Explain to him that he was actually ill, he wasn't in his right mind, and that God's not going to punish him because he smashed up a few idols or whatever. They were statues, not idols. Wrong word. Come on, Graham. And that. And then I just said to him, well, would you like me to pray for you? And he had the magic correct response, yes. He understood this could possibly help him. So we walked into the River Findon, not right deep. It's a lovely sunny day and kids were playing and the beach was quite crowded. And but we weren't that freaking out. Loads of people walk around in the water and they've got jeans on and not a, swimming costume on, because they just want to paddle, and that's really all it looked like we were doing. Walked not too deep, but into the river. And then I, as was taught, held the water up and prayed out so he could enter into the ministry, earthed him with one hand, very important, hand on his shoulder. So he's being earthed because that's what he needed to be, grounded. As we in the hip culture used to say, he's spaced out. And he was spaced out, got into his mind and got into paranoia and was really convinced he was going to be punished or whatever, and was hallucinating because of that. But earthed him with my hand, but then lifted up the water to bless it. And so he could hear as though we prayed out, Blessed Father, Mother God, I ask that this water be transmuted and changed into the exact healing compounds that this, I did use his name, needs at this moment in time. I ask this in blessed Lord Jesus Christ's name. Amen, amen, amen. Again, scoop the water up, boom, a reaction. Did it again, boom, another reaction. obviously, but the third time, completely at peace, no reaction. So then I said to him, what do you want to do now? And he could work out for himself, well, it's obvious what he had to do, but even so, I need to go back to hospital. Because the police would have been, if you're under section, you're like a wanted man, and they'd have put out a thing, he's a danger to himself and other people. And because he was under section, he'd already been put into hospital, whether he wanted to be there or not. Okay. So I said to him, well, there's a pub down the road. It's called the Kimberley, or it could be the Kimberley Arms, but whatever. Well known, right on the edge of the River Findle. And I say that wrong, but there's a road that goes right along the edge of the river. And I can also describe the exact place where this took place. Just on this corner, as you come into this straight bit of road coming into Findle, it's a slipway. It can be used as a road as well as a couple of houses on the side, but its main function is for people to back their boats down and go into the river. Right. So that's where it took place. We walked down to the Kimberley Arms. Like I say, gone completely calm. I mean, he had a, an anointing. It's very definite about that. From being someone in an agitated state, it had gone. We can analyze it, was it demonic or, powers of darkness, whatever. Oh, yeah, he was being used. And they were trying to make him feel very guilty and all the rest, and were, if you like, the basis of the paranoid response. But that had gone. So we went into the Kimberley Arms. He was wealthy, or should I say his father was. Either the head of Baxter's, that's the name I've given before, which if anyone knows, obviously it's a big factory in Scotland. They make loads of things. Baxter's soups, I think you can get shortbread, I'm not sure, but soups to do, tin soups, it's famous as well. And the factory is on the River Spey, actually. It's another river, there you go. Famous salmon river, River Spey. So we go into the pub. He buys me a pint of beer, we could just sit and look normal. Loads of Findle Foundation members were there, and they know me. I often only visit the foundation about every couple of years, but often when I do, that's why I'm saying this, I have been involved in miraculous healings, but don't hang around. In fact, I can quickly throw, I've been told, right. This was witnessed by Lauren, who is like an elder of the Findle Foundation, we say. He goes back years. An American, got a beard, at least he had a beard. But I don't think everyone will know what I mean by Lauren. He used to run, he's a bit of a cook, a chef, and used to do a little stall thing. Not so much burgers, but that sort of thing. So he was either a chef or certainly knew how to work with food and did. Lauren. And this lady, again, was going through psychosis. Can't remember her name because, that never happened. I'll explain what was going on there. How are we for time? Yeah. Now, she was going through a psychotic episode, and she'd taken it upon herself to act out, or she really did think she was, there's a fine line between the two, that she was an elf. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning, it was dark, but I was inspired to get up and inspired just to go to what's called, it's a community centre in the park. People know where I mean. And it's where we eat food. So it's got a kitchen there, the main kitchen in the park is there, and a dining area And there's a few other bits to it as well. The dining area is expanded out, but there's a room and whatever. But it is the community centre in the park. And she's there, lovely little mini skirt on, I can remember it, dark hair, very beautiful lady. And got big suitcases and just stood there. Right, and I see a light on in one of the huts because there's a discussion going on with her boyfriend and members of the foundation. And that's how she met me. Hello, I think I'm an elf. Just like that, put this whole voice on, and I prayed out. Sorry, not prayed out, but prayed up then. So, oh dear, what do I do? I asked for help, assistance, guidance to the angelic kingdom. Wow, what do I do here? And was just inspired to approach her and go with her, in the sense that didn't contest it. That's the wrong attitude to take, right? Because you'll just cause fear. You're not a fucking, no, you go with it. So I flowed with it. Oh, I see. Felt I needed to get her away from where she was, but she went for it. Would you like to come for a walk with me? I'm just going to go round the edge of the water. And we did. We went right round the edge of the bay. Again, if you know Findhorn, it goes out to a point. It must have been low tide. And you can walk literally in a circle. It's quite a bit of a walk, but anyway. And I was just literally hovering around her because she was quite active. She'd just stop and go, oh, this is nice. And, she wasn't just walking along. It took us probably hours, I don't know. But, we slowly made our way round. I then was inspired to take her into a cafe that was being run by another well-known person, a coloured gentleman from, I believe, Jamaica. Yeah, it was, because the speciality of this restaurant place, what was Jamaican food. And he's a lovely man. I might add later, he hung himself, but whatever, because he had a girlfriend now, even his wife, actually. I'm not sure that it's like that sort of arrangement, and they had children, but they were divorced or they'd split up, but he hadn't fully accepted this split, whatever. And we went there, and he sussed that something's going on, because I'm not generally a person, well, I'm certainly not a womanizer. This is very unusual behaviour for me to come into a cafe with a beautiful young woman, and as if we're a couple, and order a drink of coffee in there. Wasn't normally my, wasn't. But that's what I had to do. And just try and, ground her again. You just be normal and make her win her confidence. Okay. So we had a coffee. We're there quite a while. And I just said hi, goodbye when we left. All the time, see, it's grounding her. Right. She wasn't no longer out. She didn't act out Alf in the coffee. Get it? So there was a transference from being Alf to being a woman, switching. So we then went back out onto the beach and walked around. It took quite a while. All the time I'm praying silently for her, in a sense, as oh, blessed Father God, may this one be restored to peace. She was angry. Very angry. She had announced to the group that she was visiting the foundation with, and on some kind of group, that she was Christ. This had freaked people right out. And obviously friends who were perhaps over-caring and didn't have the sus to understand that this is all that I told you, see. Every now and then I'd get a few, bit of words in. You're not Christ, but you've been Christed. And then I explained that I've been through a similar experience, and that it's a common fault, pitfall, to equate it to being, well, I'm Jesus, because it's very much like what happened to Jesus. He became Christed. He had a revelationary experience or anointing when he was baptized. It's pictorial explained that the dove descended on him, which was representation of the Spirit. That obviously won her confidence more, because obviously when I got the space, I went into it more, you know. I said, oh yes, I said, I've been rejected here as well, you know, and I've had it put around, quote, that I'm a deluded schizophrenic who thinks he's Jesus. But of course I didn't. I had the understanding, now of course I'm not Jesus, I'm Graham, you know, but I've had an experience similar to Jesus, and very common amongst people who have psychotic episodes. You only have to go into the psychiatric ward. I remember once I digress, but this is all, there's about 3 people, all under the illusion that they were Jesus. One person was preaching out, repent, you know, full of religious stereotype things. Another person suddenly announced he was the Lord God Jehovah. And I added a bit of humour. No, you're not, mate, I am. Right? But a very common experience, you know, religious delusions, I think they might class it in psychiatric jargon. I'll put that in. I had a nurse. I admitted myself into the psychiatric wing voluntarily because I needed to get my lithium balanced. So I actually packed my suitcase. I wasn't sectioned, you understand? Phoned up, told the doctor that, you know, starting to get quite severe side effects to do with the lithium, and that could I be admitted? Because you have to go through a process of they give you the lithium and slowly rise it and monitor your blood, because it is toxic filth, the lithium we're prescribed, because it's a drug. But you can buy, I wonder if I can do it this time, lithium orotate, which is classed as a supplement. It's still lithium, because lithium's a metal. You can get spring water that has lithium in it. And it's been said, you know, noted way back in the 15th, whatever, that people could go to various springs, and they use a different term, not mania, but similar thing, a term that meant that the person wasn't too psychiatrically grounded, and they would benefit. I'm going to do it this time, because you know what I mean, a picture says 1,000 words. All your medicines, even if you have to take synthetic medicines, right, can be put under the pyramid and will be purified from any over-the-top toxic effects, because you can put poisons under a pyramid and they will be neutralized. This is all verified, or can be take it further. The Russians have done extensive research into pyramids. They put poisons, radioactive material, seeds that have then improved their thing. But there you go. Lithium orotate. That's a year's supply in a maintenance capacity. If you happen to have a major episode, for whatever reason, you know, it can just be a psychological upset. But that was, I forget how much it was, very cheap. Again, you can buy it yourself. It's not considered a drug, and it is a far better form of taking lithium, because you don't take anywhere near what you do with the other forms, which again are on not far under toxic level. So when you put on the lithium that you put on that is the drug types. I think it's lithium carbonate, and there's another version. It's filth, it's toxic, damages your liver, and you have to have blood tests. And I might add, you're recommended by various authorities to only be on it a maximum of 5 years. That's another topic. The amount of abuse that psychiatric patients are put under, and the sort of drugs they take that are very harmful and filth, is no one's business. But that's a very safe means of, if you're prone to a mania, lithium orotate, brought online, very cheap as well. And that goes under the pyramid. There are some other, I have diabetes and I have to take some other. I'm just going to go to wee, because it'll disrupt the flow. I'm one of these chairs, but occasionally I see what you're seeing, right? So, well experienced in this. Those people that have watched my videos, and I, have to go to, so I'll come up, but I block the camera and see exactly it. Because I've got to go. That's the thing, if you know anything about diabetes. When you want to go, you've got to go. And a lot of people with diabetes have to wear, how can I put it, a plastic bag, and it's connected onto the top of it like a tube, but a special name for it, but whatever. And they also can have an operation where tubes inserted into your bladder, and you don't even know you're going to toilet. You don't have all the feelings you normally have, when you're busting to pass water and it aches, and it just goes. But not for me. This is beautiful. You have a container. I can carry it in the car if I get a car. And I've often just stopped at the side of the road. You just look at people if they might be walking past, and they generally avoid eye contact. And they'd have to come right up to the car, you get me, and look down to see what you're doing. And then, having said that, even if you are doing that, you're diabetic. There shouldn't be no, if they see something they don't want to see, it's their fault, isn't it? Oh, we're nearly there. I like to keep these just over an hour. So I'm finishing off with this lady. And it ended because I did. Right towards the end, I then brought the cutting word. So she's oscillating between being Alf to being a beautiful woman. And then I get this information across. Things like, are you part of the Findorn Foundation? I reassured her that. That's where the other bit came. I said, oh no, I've been wrongly accused of being absolutely insane and losing the plot and being deluded and thinking he's Jesus, right? And because that's what happened to her, and that's what made her go into Alf. Because it's part of the Findorn's culture thing of the believe in fairies and elves, and so it's her way of getting back on them, freaking them out. But she saw sense, because I told her, I said, look, this is a cutting word. I said, look, got swears, adult humour, cosmic age. You're not a fucking elf. It's funny. But that was it. Whether that was exactly it, and I don't think she shared that, because I think, I spoiled it. You're not a fucking elf. You're a very beautiful young lady. And then I put more. I said, if you carry on like this, you're not going to win. You'll end up being sectioned. And it'll ruin your life, because you'll have a permanent scar, if you like. You can't live that down, and you've got to go through all the embarrassment and that. And when you come out and come back to normality, people are discriminate against you is another word, but that's what it means. Bigoted, whatever, you know, and people with psychiatric conditions like that have to get through that. And the only way is knowledge. You get to know yourself what it actually was, not what psychiatrists may pump onto you. Chemical imbalance, that might be part of it. Right, but it's not just as simple as that. If you believe you're in reincarnation, which is a fact, can be many things. You're actually a unique person and have immense potential. 1 in 100 have psychotic episodes. Worldwide, it's a statistic, 1 in 100. So you can't around, you could argue you could be in a room full of 100 people and you're the only person that knows what psychosis is and has experienced psychosis or altered states of consciousness. You'd be considered in other cultures a shaman. Someone who can enter into altered states of consciousness for the purposes of healing, teaching or whatever, but you generally, here's the key point, don't live in community. The shaman generally lives separate. Right. Can have an apprentice or a couple of apprentices living with them, but in general live alone. And of course, that was one of my big contentions of the Findle Foundation. Constantly trying to pump onto me, you know, joining the community and being a good community member. Well, I was, but I had a different role and function, and I had to be totally free to serve the spirit or serve God wherever I might be directed. And I have done a lot of traveling, and that is my pathway. To me, the Findorn Foundation is a cosmic PowerPoint. Oh, yeah. The River Findorn is now a healing source of healing waters because I baptized someone there and a miracle performed, and the wording was, may this water be blessed and transmuted. And that's the whole river. It ties in with what I'm doing now, that I will be getting obviously some Findorn river water to add to my samples. Because the mechanics of this is that it's the etheric energy field of the various sacred waters that are then passed on to the other water, I say the other, my tap water, which incidentally I've tested and can verify that it has less than 50 parts per million. And that's far better than most bottled waters you can buy. The recommended limit, I believe, is 150 parts per million. And I was buying all these waters because I was going to do that. And then I just happened to, you know, test my tap water because I have a pyramid up in the loft and the stream goes right past my house that is connected with the whole water purification system, not necessarily just Salam Bride. Major renovation because we had a flood. And you'll see it. They've built the stream so that the water circulates. Right past my house, there's steps, which again encourages the water, a natural purification system. And my house, little cottage, is right on the edge of that. And the auric influence of the pyramid I have up in the loft affects that stream. Okay? It's just an hour. Only 4 people joined. I'll give you a mention. You're probably not all there because, again, I've said this to people over the times. You've got things to do. You can always watch this later. You just touch in and you form, when 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, you form, according to Lucid's Trust, anyway, a triangle. 2 or 3 are gathered in my name. So you touch into this live transmission, as I touched into many other. Get it? This is the significance of Facebook. It's not just a place for people to link up for personality reasons, to find a sexual partner, or there's nothing wrong with that. And that's good. That's probably why most people get involved with this. But when they start to get spiritually aware, they realize the other significance. We're forming the etheric web of the planet. We're points of light. We're light workers. So every time we link up with someone, energy follows thought, and we're providing this field. We're strengthening it. And every time we link into someone that lives near a power point, as an example, same thing. I've got 5,000 friends, but I didn't get them by, personality stuff. I'd never be able to do that. I'm useless at typing. Someone starts, oh no, hello, do you like this? And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. I am looking for people who have developed a spiritual outlook on life. So I'm now targeting, and you can do that. There's groups on Facebook. Bosnian Pyramid group comes to mind. There's about 5 of them. So they're all interested in pyramids and the Bosnian pyramids. Some might just be for socialization. They've been to the pyramids and want to meet like-minded souls. Great. Linking into them. Going back to what I said, I want some Bosnian pyramid water. So anyone who sees this knows that how I can probably get hold of some. Probably a bit rare. I've already shared on that because of the way the paranoia is. Like I've shared on that. You can't take over 100 ml of any liquid on a plane. Yeah, but you might be someone who went there overland. You come from Europe. You didn't fly there. As long as you're not, outside of the confines of Bosnia, because they're going around the circle. The postal service doesn't exist because of the conflicts. I've been to the UN about this. There's a UN Facebook, if you like, group address, and they've explained that there's actually 3 different governmental bodies who feel that they are in charge of Bosnia. So you've got an Islamic group, doesn't matter, a Christian group and whatever. Consequently, the whole structure of the country is in turmoil. Like I said, there's not a proper postal service because they're paranoid bombs or whatever. So I'm going to end on that I will be coming to Bosnia hopefully soon. And it's like spreading the way. I will be looking for people who'd like to help me do that. And it could be various ways, We could set it up as a charity. We could transport the water out of Bosnia and then set up our distribution centre, what you want to call it, company, where it's bottled and everything, outside of Bosnia, and then just use the postal service from there. We can, or I certainly will be, blessing the water, the river, that passes underneath the pyramids, because that's doing two functions. Wherever that river goes, whoever drinks from that river will be blessed, and it'll help, because that's how you'll do this. Quickly finish with that. You'll set up your own blessing come manufacturing technology, which is a pyramid within your own home. You can see mine, it doesn't have to be a massive one. Then you can take that water and introduce it into other sources of water. Easy done. You can go out for the day and a couple of things, and you're constantly manufacturing. It's the wrong word, but producing it. You don't have to keep going back to Bosnia. You only need that one file. Then that's put next to a bigger supply and under a pyramid, and you are constantly generating healing water to be distributed to other sources of water. Now they've done this. It's amazing. You go into the Emoto research, and there's cases of people who had a pond that was overgrown with weeds. And all the life, it's so overgrown, all the fish and that had withdrawn. And so they used to bless some water, it's their own pond, but they could do that. It's sort of like a small lake. And over a period of about 3 months, the weeds receded and fish came back and a natural balance was restored. Again, you want to go into that sort of research. Emoto, Japanese scientist, and his way of clearly betraying to people how water, through just being blessed, can change physically, was that he froze water from various sources of water and put them under a microscope, and you see the patterns. So a healthy water had a beautiful geometric pattern, crystallization. But a polluted thing would be all, not a geometrically nice shape. Yeah. And so the evidence is there, but we have the technology to put things right. And on a last note, many people are saying that the pyramids and the technology of the pyramids comes from an extraterrestrial source. Now, conventional archaeologists will argue and come up with all these Mickey Mouse theories of how the pyramids are built. But once you go to the pyramids and see it, these blocks are sometimes 20 tons each. And then you see how they've been cut. So you imagine it, perfectly cut to match each other. We haven't got the technology now to do that. Neil Young, Cortez the Killer, but it's talking about how he possibly had a visionary journey and visited in like a shaman's journey, went back in time, or even lived back in time. Again, various explanations. But it's a beautiful song. It's talking about how the people moved stones and built monuments and how they had sacrifice, but how the people were beautiful, no war, nothing. And then we won't get into that, but Cortez, Western so-called developed man, went there and slaughtered them, but more importantly, ripped off their gold. But there's an interesting conjecture that the Knights Templar, but were knights, if you follow me, ripped off the gold back and were the original pirates. If you look into this, goes really far. It's not far out. I mean, it's all there. And that the skull and crossbones was adopted by the SS of Adolf Hitler. It's again a very ancient symbol, going back to the original pirates. And he was following through this knowledge and was looking for buried gold. Get it? That had been liberated, if you want to use that, because the Knights Templars used a lot of this gold to build various cathedrals, sacred places of worship. And one of the famous ones is just down the road, Roslin Chapel, which if you go there, and I've been there, you'll see symbolism and whatever going back to loads of different things, not just Christianity, and clear evidence, as far as there is, that the Knights Templar had a lot to do with Roslin Chapel. And then we go into the story of the Christ bloodline. Well, actually, in my opinion, but obviously we're growing, changing, and what, it's Mary Magdalene. And again, there's stories that Jesus and Mary Magdalene had children. Who knows? But what is known, although not too well known, but can be substantiated, Jesus chose Mary Magdalene to continue the teaching role. He had to retire, and there is obviously stories of him going to Kashmir and all the rest. The gist of it is these cosmic humour, these idiot assholes that crucified him, and we could say all that, they wouldn't have just let it go. If it was really made public to them that he had risen from the dead, they would probably have gone back and crucified him again and put it down to witchcraft and all the rest of it. He would have been, so he did leave the scene. But what is a reality, and it's being verified, Mary Magdalene is no longer, and for quite a while actually, has been released from all this slanderous filth put out by a pope that she was a prostitute. Why? Because the men hijacked the Christian faith, literally, there's no other word for it, and all this nonsense about people paying money to be released from sin, all the stuff that was removed from the scriptures, and yet the scriptures themselves say, you know, how a serious, and rightly so, a sin, if you want to call it, what it was, is to, i.e., edit the scriptures, take things out. And yet it's known, I think, the 13th century, there was this conclave, and where all the archbishops and all the rest of the nonsense that they call themselves, and the Bible was edited. That's why there's new scriptures coming forth. They hid them deliberately because they knew what was going to happen. And they've been refound. New gospels. There's even a gospel of Mary Magdalene. And it's also the Vatican that has got all this knowledge. Yeah, right. Because at the time, where do you think people would go? And of course, it is sold. You're some little Arab boy or whatever, nothing being offensive, but just, you know, yeah. And you find these scriptured scrolls, wrong word, but yeah, scrolls. Well, who do you think's going to buy them? We'd be probably amazed if the Vatican was. There have been attempts. I'm going to throw a wobbler in a minute, these classes. Yeah, we're going to, right. So Mary Magdalene is incorporated in my prayer work. Blessed Mother Mary, Blessed Lord Jesus Christ, and Blessed Mary Magdalene. And the angelic kingdom are included within that. And that is generally the way I pray. But I also use the Great Invocation, which comes from the Alice A. Bailey teachings. Again, a channel, a medium, whatever you want to call her, an instrument for a higher evolved teacher to use to put forward teachings. And I think I'm on that level myself. But it would blow my mind if I really did put out, well, William Shakespeare comes through me. Because it's not, I don't get this sort of voice in my head and hello, I'm William. No. But when it comes through me, I channeled a whole charity, which I believe was inspired directly by William Shakespeare, called The Theatre of Unemployment. I'll end on that, yeah. And I didn't finish it the other day. I went to the Labour Party. That's why it's topical. There's all this thing of who's the demons in the woodpile or what. Is it Labour? Is it Conservative or what? And I've had a few little disputes with people only because I say, as I say now, I speak as I find. I went to the Labour Party in Leicester to ask for their help to set up this charity called the Theatre of Unemployment. It now got a name changed to Black Unicorn, but doesn't matter, it's exactly the same constitution. Nothing was altered, just the name and whatever. But the quote from Shakespeare was at the top of it, right? All the world's a stage and the men and women merely players. And that was like a seed thought of how Shakespeare saw life. We're all just actors on a stage and we have many different parts. But we don't get on a big ego trip because I happen to be a king of a country, as an example, and someone else is a baker or whatever, you know, that's their functional role in life. Someone else is a soldier, and that's their part. Quote Neil Young, there's a world you're living in. No one else has your part. All God's children in the wind, take it in blood. And that might be wrong, but people know it's a very famous lyric. There's a lot of Neil Young stuff. It's inspired. Oh, I'll go off on that. I shared one of my videos like this to a Neil Young fan club, only because I know Neil himself is an inspired person, and that me and Neil Young have a lot of things we'd have in common. He knows what it means to be inspired by the Spirit, and he does it through his lyrics. Go back to Cortez the Killer. What's all that about? Well, it is about Cortez, yeah. And he quotes the name of the woman, is it? But yeah. But obviously, so channeling or being a medium wouldn't freak Neil Young out. He's already got a grasp of that, right? But one of his fans, you know, well, I can laugh at it. What's this got to do with Neil Young? So I quoted that lyric back. No. I mean, do you think Neil Young wants people to worship him? You know, pathetic. He understands, going back to the Shakespearean quote, he's just got another part to play, but there's a higher intelligence that uses him. He'd probably say if he is interviewed, well, I don't know where those lyrics come from. You know? Well, I thought I saw the knights in armour all around the chosen one, all in a dream. The landing has begun. Yeah. Analyse that. Yeah, inspired. I was round when Jesus Christ had his moments of doubt and pain. I killed the Tsar and the ministers because I thought it was a change. Time for a change. Okay, I might be slightly. Just smile and call me Lucifer, and I'll lay your body to waste. Everything's of God. And it's even said Lucifer was a fallen angel. Yeah. Supplying and providing that we can all be deceived. Scripture, even the elect will be deceived. St. Peter in the Garden of Gethsemane, I'm throwing it all in there. St. Peter in the Garden of Gethsemane. Like I say, I'm a lay Baptist priest, and I took an agape, which is a very special meeting. We have the sacraments, and I wasn't an old member, but I asked because that is me. I'm here to serve, and I'm here to learn whatever I can learn and be equipped. So I said, I want to take an agape. Didn't wait to be asked. So it was, I'd like to have ministries of ministries. Didn't wait. Could be in there years. And then suddenly, well, Graham, you know, you're moving in the gifts quite a bit. Prophecy, healing, cutting word, right? Because that's what ministries of ministries does. It gives you confirmation amongst what gifts you can and have moved in, and even if there's prophetic words, but what you might move in the future. So you have something to move towards, and you're not freaked out when it starts to happen. Yeah. Now, he's gone thing. So yes, contemporary music, Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, Neil Young, go on and on and on. All was being used. Why? Because in the 60s and the 70s, people were opening up and expanding their consciousness by taking things like LSD and marijuana, and were opened up. They turned on. And it showed in the music. Now, those that didn't turn on wrote pathetic, well, it's a total, well, talk about a split. Oh, yeah. What's it? Oh, pop bands that just sing nonsense and have their lyrics written for them. Bit of a different ilk to someone that's bringing through spiritual wisdom. Yeah. And yes, some people, I'm contradicting myself now, yeah, Neil Young is exceptional. Okay. I'm not trying to, just take credit where credit's due, far from it. Yes, Neil Young is special and that, but you don't worship him. And if you ask Neil Young, he would say that. Oh, it's not me. It's my higher self, or whatever label he uses. Oh, it's inspired. He might even say, well, I have a smoke, and then I'm giving. Paul McCartney has no problem. He's of such a fame that, it's all known that Paul McCartney smokes. And Paul McCartney admits, I'm given a project to do, and within minutes, I'm already being inspired what it is. So someone asks, hi, Paul, can you do us some music for this film? And that's the golden rule, isn't it? You're asked, you ask again yourself for inspiration. Mother Mary came to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Well, this psychiatrist got hold of that, he'd probably end up getting sectioned. You mean Mother Mary came to you? Because Mother Mary does come to people, thousands of people. It's called an expansion. Spiritual aware beings, entities, whatever you want to call them, are not limited by a physical form. So yes, Mother Mary can appeal to thousands of people. Jesus Christ can appear to thousands, if not millions of people. And you can have your own individual relationship with Jesus. That's what we're taught in the church I went to. Jesus Fellowship Church. You fellowshipped with Jesus. No one batted an eyelid. If your prayer was, Jesus, Jesus, as my father prayed when he passed, as I witnessed the last things my father said, he knew he was dying. He had Alzheimer's. Whoa. That's not a bowl of laughs. Your mind or your brain is being eaten away. You're losing your faculties. A lot of people don't know that. You don't just become absent-minded. You become deaf. You can lose your sight. My father became deaf and I was visiting him and had to write things on a board. No more conversation. I used to play music to him and he could appreciate that. Buddhist chants, and we had Buddhist symbols in the room. They'd let you do that. You know, an incense, I'd burn incense. But his words were, as his eyes are closed, Jesus, 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 calling upon the name of the Lord. Now, if I'd have been psychically opened up, but these things are controlled, it'd have blown my mind. That room would have been filled with angels. My dad was my guru. We had known each other through previous lives. He wasn't my dad. He was. My mother was an absolute cosmic humour bit of a bitch. And that was all karmic. We were torn between my mother and my father. Talk about arguing. Oh yeah, they were just like cat and mice, even were. And it's all over sex. She deprived him or denied him sex. Very powerful thing, and that was why she did it. So they'd end up just having an argument and that's it. And he'd just go out back to work. He'd come home, we're going on there, come home for dinner and she'd start moaning at him, having a go at him. So he just left, went back to work. He's an insurance agent. So he had loads of friends he could go and see because he just visited people, all the working class people, and they got these insurance policies, you know, quid a week or so, really thing. But anyway, and that's how he made his living. He had his own round. He was a cooperative, you know them, insurance agent. But we as children, I was embarrassed to bring people back to my home. That's the word I'd use. Wasn't a happy home. I never brought my friends back to my house. And sometimes when I got depressed, because my mother got depressed, and I'd just sit in with her, feel guilty about going out myself. I'm a young man and all that. I'd be with my mother, and friends would come in after a couple of months. You know, are you all right? I was nicknamed Jack. I've been told to put that in. Anyone who might be doing research into my early life, my father's name was Jack. So you can imagine the games I had. JC, the initials, right? Good. And my dad's name was Jack, and I adopted it as a young kid in school because I asked for our middle name. So this is way back in the infant school. And it's an unusual name. And I said, Jack. And all the kids laughed. And it stuck. It's unusual. Jack Clark. And many people know me as Jack Clark. Didn't know my name was Graham. It was never used. So all you people who maybe have been doing research. My brother's name was David Clark. Right, and he did commit suicide, and it was in a local psychiatric hospital. Made the papers because he did it in the grounds of the hospital. Didn't finish that. Remember I was saying about how we're possibly bodhisattvas and incarnated down together, and then how he was put into hospital, and how they refused to let him continue to smoke marijuana. And how it was his religion, to him, sacred sacrament. And he's being stopped from practicing his religion. Hounded, no other word for it. And how he threatened them that he'd kill himself. And he's in a psychiatric hospital. And finished. He was discharged. Whew. Some karmic debts there. A psychiatrically disturbed patient is threatening to kill himself if he's discharged. Okay, it is emotional that way, but it cuts both ways. Something could have been done, because it's a well-known fact in psychiatric wards, there's always a smoking room provided. They don't turn around to psychiatrically disturbed people, although they kick the nurses out, that's funny, and say you can't smoke. There'd be a riot. Imagine it. So they do, there's a room provided with ventilators, and the nurses can't go in there though. They have to leave the hospital, and you see it, they're all stood outside, a break and having a cigarette. Things have changed. I know that now. Marijuana is being legalized, and rightly so. It is being seen for what it is, a sacrament. And all the lies and the corruption about making and keeping marijuana illegal is that corruption. People are making a lot of money out of marijuana being a black market product. People are, to use the word adult humour, are prostituting a sacrament. Why? The majority of people that deal in black market marijuana are violent. How can I put it, individuals, and use the money to buy arms? That probably had a bit to do with my brother also. He was approached by the IRA. So imagine it, he's a man. This is his religious path and a way as he saw it to help people find God, a sacrament. And then the IRA approach him and threaten him with guns and say, we want to cut your money. Suddenly he lost, quite a bit of enthusiasm to carry on distributing marijuana. So that's another cross he had to bear, his conscience. Whoa, Graham. So yes, I was known as Jack Clark, and it's on the school records and all the way through my adolescence. And if people went back, because remember I used to just go on the road and bugger off for years, people thought I was dead. Graham Clark? Oh, do you mean Jack Clark? That's what I was known as. I'm just throwing that in. Someone might be newspapers and that, and you can say, oh, you're on a bit of an ego trip, Graham. No, this life of mine and the things I've been through right? And I've come out the other end because I've just stuck with that. The mantra, God's in charge. Even though I seem to be going through a hell of a rough time, didn't have much of a childhood, and could really feel sorry for myself, and and then have this condition called manic depression, which you're discriminated against and treated like shit and talked down to as if you're an idiot, right? But I've come out the other end. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And I said, I could die tomorrow and I'd be happy. There you go. Yeah. Done my bit. Whacked my videos onto YouTube, and anyone who's interested, that's my legacy, that's my teaching. Would like to get to Bosnia, would like to get some Bosnian Pyramid water, right? But again, if I don't, I don't. It's not my fault. The world is in darkness, and humanity is. When we think, I'm just going to talk here. This Brezhnev shit, and that's what it is. My sus on that is simply Theresa May has worked, I've said it doesn't matter, her bollocks off to implement what the people democratically voted for. Whether she believed in it or not herself, she has. But her companions, and this is it, the very Conservative Party members, not just the Labour, really pathetic, but also sickening. Oh, well, if we get rid of Theresa May, it's her fault. Talk about hypocrisy. Who's been blocking her efforts? And it's not just her. Obviously, she has a team of people, but she's a spokesperson, yes, but that is our system. She was elected the leader. That is the leader's role. You can't have hundreds of people trotting over to fucking adult humour, to Europe, to meet these other members of the European state or whatever. That is the trip. But what I would say, I think, needs looking at, this whole concept of an opposition party needs to be changed. What does it mean? To oppose. And some people have such a narrow understanding of what they are as a Labour politician, right? My job is to oppose Theresa May, to undermine Theresa May, right? And the media can whip up all this, right? Well, I'm not bloody taking in, but I don't care. Excuse me, Fetch. How many fuckers turned up to London? Right. Yeah. There probably are thousands of you. I just see you for you're a load of narrow-minded idiots who don't really care about the future of this country, who do think it's like the old witch hunting. Oh, yeah, we're anti-Theresa May, right? And yet I had that said to me. I've been taken in by Conservative rhetoric. Excuse, have I? Fuck. I couldn't even tell you what the Conservative Party stands for. Yeah, that's right. I speak as I find. I've been told to hurry up now. I went to the Labour Party to ask for assistance to set up a charity which would have relieved immense suffering worldwide. Fantastic potential. The Labour's response was it was something they could take over and use for their own pathetic ends, quote, to promote the Labour Party. And they'd even told media representatives that it was because I happened to be using an office in their, well, an office, I say, a table and a phone in their Labour Party building in Leicester, right? When I did a radio interview and made it clear, which it says in the Constitution, this is going to be a non-profit charitable organisation. We can't use a charity to promote politics. There are certain categories a charity can be, and it isn't to promote someone's political beliefs. So they were going to take it over, and it wouldn't have been a charity. So I told them where they could shove that. But then I went to Margaret Thatcher, because that's where I was inspired to go. And I asked her for her help, being a person of influence, you know. I didn't know that she happened to be a lawyer. She not only wrote a really nice, encouraging letter back, but she forwarded my constitution to the Charity Commission on my behalf, meaning I got 5-star treatment. Oh yeah, within days I'd had a response from the Charity Commission giving me advice, telling me what office bearers I'd need to set up minimum, you know, the actual, and the next stage would have been that. But I was a recluse, didn't have a lot of friends with money. Again, we go in a circle. I was a psychiatric person within society's rating, the lowest of the low, considered, well, an idiot, you know, put on the scrap heap and never become anything with my life. Keep taking the tablets. And that's how people with psychiatric conditions are treated. But the ridiculous scenario is, I will end, because psychiatric people are potentially, this is psychotic, geniuses, and have far more to contribute to society than average Joe Blows. And it could be proved now with the science and technology we have through brain scans, MIR, whatever. A person who's psychotic, same as someone that meditates, has about 80% of their brain functioning. Now I'm going to be a bit stirrer, but the average thicker shit who isn't sees a concept turned on. That's what it means. It's like a switch thing and you're, whoa, right? Enlightenment, call it what you will, yeah, turned on, is a similar, is the experience, right? They have less than 5% of their brains functioning. That's scientific evidence. Yeah. And it's been semi-prophesized in the Alice A. Bailey teachings, via Lucis Trust, right, in various of the books of it, from intellect to intuition. Now that's, well, in itself, that's what's said, that we are evolving to function from the intuition, direct perception, bypassing the intellect. But we all know that the majority of so-called civilized countries worship the intellect, but it's just data. So you go through this educational system in inverted commas, exclamation mark, and you might be intellectually full of all this data that us less fortunate folk haven't been exposed to. I haven't been to university, get it? But that isn't going to help us. Again, intuition is to do with the chakras, the third eye being opened. It's direct perception. And another concept, to do with spiritual evolution. And certain systems, people who study the Zohar, and this is a system of esoteric knowledge. I'm looking at them now. There's 24 volumes. If you get hold of a copy of the Zohar, right, it's got an English translation, but it's also got a very ancient language translation, well, version. But you study the Zohar by scanning it. Just like in supermarkets, a scanner. So you have the book in front of you and you go from left to right as well. No, right to left, get it right. And get it right, yeah, right to left. And you scan it. And intellectually, you don't know what you're reading. But that's how they do it. They scan it because the subconscious takes in everything. Yeah. And you are opening up and expanding your mind and filling your mind with this knowledge by scanning it. Right? That's again an example. Hi, John, I'm about to clean up, but you can watch this again. So you scan the Zohar. And that's not airy-fairy, that's not me making it, that's it. Jewish, if you like, esoteric knowledge. But that's how they do it. So you see often Jews going like this, and they're reading the sacred scrolls, but they're not actually reading it, although they could. Okay, we've got another thing. Some of them can read this ancient language, meaning they can interpret it back into English, shall we say. But that isn't the right approach again. So, I mean, it isn't an intellectual thing. It's a gift it's been given us. And imagine trying to get through, I'm looking now, 24 volumes. I'll do it. I'm being prompted. It says a picture says 1,000 words. Oh, it's a brand new, it's never been looked at, that one. I bought this set on eBay. And it's a shipped to me, the complete 24 volumes, right? Beautiful. Just anywhere I open it, because I show you it. I can't see what you see. Hold it. I've got to, it's all right, because the camera focuses. Well, there you can see the ancient language, yeah, which is what you would scan. And there's an English translation as well. And this is one of the first ever unabridged English translation with commentary. Yeah, or you read that first ever unabridged English translation with commentary, and there's the ancient language at the bottom. And there is the Zohar. Beautiful. And you've got your lion. You can see that, yeah, it's not, I can see it's not focusing. It's like a lion stamp. Yeah, you can just see it now. Again, ancient symbol. And I went into Elgin Library. I've got a proper book stand. And I worked through the whole volumes. That's coming, that's the end. Empathy. I'm getting into white magic now. Empathy. It's possible just to hold that book. Remember, we talked about everything's got an aura. It's a sacred book. You know, you see in the movies people protecting themselves from evil by surrounding themselves with scriptures because they're carrying energy and that, you know, protection. Well, they do that. Oh, I've gone off on that. Jewish soldiers are given, I won't be able to find that, might do, a small, compact version of the Zohar, but are given it for protection. And it does. There's a case, oh dear, Graham, he's gone. famous documented case that there are a lot of Jews in Morocco, and the German forces turned up to Morocco, the Moroccan king. It's a famous quote, but it's based on true. And they are wanting to come into Morocco and kill the Jews, shall we say. And his words were very famous. There are only Moroccan, I may have got that wrong, but the whoa, excuse me. I've got to watch this. Ah, okay. Yes, see? Yeah, beautiful. Little book, leather pouch. And all the soldiers are issued with this. They don't have to, but it was. I've spoiled the story. So Rommel, I believe it was, famous German. Yeah, there you go. A small little edited version. Yeah. And it's the same. You might want to miss it. It's got both. It's got the ancient language. Actually, it might only have here. I haven't got my glasses on. No, that is just because of the compactness of it. It is just the ancient, as I say, language. The Book of Healing and Protection. It was called. Yeah, and it is all in just the original ancient language. But going back to Morocco, so I'll finish with that. It was Rommel, I believe. He had all the troops, guns, tanks and that. And the King of Morocco said, there are no Jews here. Right? They left. And people accredited that there were Jews there, but they were using the Zohar, reading it, scanning it, and they left. And that's a fact. That's historical fact. And on that note, because it's nearly 2 hours, and this is going to take ages to upload. Well, we'll see. This is a more powerful computer. That's probably why. Because it's a MacBook Pro, so a faster processor and more RAM. So, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Oh, that's it. Didn't work right at first.